everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Lily, and today I would like to talk to you about a certain condition, a skin condition that I've been dealing with for about maybe 10 to 12 years. And it's something where I see more and more people have this condition. I've seen so many videos, so many YouTube videos about people having this condition and so many things to actually do in order to get rid of this condition. Listen, there is no getting rid of melasma. There's maintaining melasma and maintenance for melasma, but there is no cure-all for melasma. There are chemical peels, there are lasers, there's different things you can put on, different topical things that you can use like hydroquinone that only work as temporary erasers. Now, I have had this condition for about maybe 10 to 12 years. I don't remember, it's been so long. I never had a single thing on my face. I went to the beach one day. When I came back, I was sunburned. And since I was sunburned, I came out and I said, oh my gosh, let me put some aloe vera on it. And for some reason, my cheeks right here weren't like, the sunburn was a different kind of sunburn. And I kept looking at it and I'm like, all right, put a little bronzer on, you know, doing this and that to, you know, make it glowy. And the same 2 weeks went by and it was like, there was these dark patches, literally dark brown patches. One was like Florida and the other one looked like Texas on the side of my face. But what really had the concern where I said I need to see a doctor was my upper lip. I literally had like a brown mustache. It was brown with like little specks in it. And then very vaguely around my eyebrows, it was the same thing, but everything was the same color. The cheeks, the upper lip, and everything was the same color. And I remember my kids saying to me, Mom, but what happened to your face? And I was like, I have no idea. I called the dermatologist. It took a year to get in, literally a year. I said it was an emergency. I got put on the, cancellation list. I needed to see somebody because this was out of the norm for me. Now, 10 to 12 years ago, I was in my early 40s, and now I'm going towards my late 50s. And I'll tell you one thing, I've never had a problem. I said, well, maybe this is because I'm perimenopausal and my hormones are changing and all this stuff is going on. Well, no. It was because of the overexposure of sun that I had did that day. That really did considerably do a considerable amount of damage to my skin. So being that I was perimenopausal, and I was going through a transformation through my hormones, and with the overexposure of sunlight, what ended up happening was I ended up developing this condition. There was more melanolites, and it's something where it just penetrated so deep into my skin that it ended up developing these brown spots. So what am I doing all these years to take care of this? Well, the first couple of years it was hydroquinone and it was working. Then all of a sudden, out of the clear blue sky, I ended up seeing that the hydroquinone, it's okay, but it makes the condition go away. And in the summertime, it would come back and it would come back brown. And you can't wear that hydroquinone more than 12 weeks. So once I do the whole lightening up, I would come out and stop it. And then it was summertime, I looked nice, and as soon as I got a little bit of sun, here it comes again. And then I started noticing it around my jawline, and then I started noticing more on my left side because of the sunlight that I was getting through my car. Now, I always wear hats. I love wearing baseball caps. Now I was faithfully wearing a baseball cap because I didn't know what was going on with my skin. I go to the doctor, the dermatologist, and he looks at me and he says, yeah, he goes, it's just, it's one of those things where you're going to have to just put, some hydroquinone and it'll lighten it up and you'll be okay. I says, no, I've tried that already. I've looked at all kinds of videos. He goes, well, that's what everybody does. They look at videos and they try to self-medicate, blah, blah, blah. Listen, I've never had anything like this on my face. And I need to put something on that's going to make this permanently go away. So he gave me this tretinoin, and I think it wasn't even covered by my insurance. I think I paid like $125 for this tube, and I had to keep it refrigerated. There was a certain time and a certain way to apply it. Did it work? Yeah, it worked. It worked within about a couple of weeks. And then within 12 weeks, here we go again, the cycle of melasma. It all came back. So now I start doing my own homework, and I start doing my own research, because 10 to 11, 12 years ago, we didn't have that much with the internet, and we didn't have a lot of YouTube stuff going on. So now I'm looking into, you know, these medical journals, and I'm looking to see what happens and what it is that I can actually find out. I was like, there has to be a reason why I got this on my face all of a sudden. So I go to another dermatologist that took me within 6 months, and he says, oh, he goes, are you Latino? And I said, yeah, I'm Latina. He says, you got melasma. Happens to a lot of Latino women, happens to Asian women, and you know, you're just gonna have to put skin lighteners on, because it's one of those things where you're just gonna have to come out and lighten it. It'll get dark, in the wintertime it'll get light, and in the summertime. I said, so what am I gonna do in the summertime? I never got a direct answer. So now I'm trying to figure out, what am I gonna do? I was going through makeup, full coverage. I was going through all kinds of different concealers. I was looking things up on the internet. I was trying to see what it is that I can do to make these spots go away. I did the whole lemon, put lemons on. I did the potato water. I did the turmeric mask. Nothing worked. Then I was on a YouTube video, and I noticed there was this video for melasma by this doctor. Her name is Dr. V, and she introduced me to The Ordinary. That was one of my game changers, because I had several game changers with my melasma, but this was definitely a game changer. She talked about the importance of vitamin C, and how the vitamin C clearly like coats your skin, and it protects it from the UV rays, and it protects your melanocytes. So I started using vitamin C through The Ordinary, and I would only use it in the morning and at night. And I started noticing that things were lightening up, but then my skin was getting really dry. So instead of in the morning and night, I started just using it at nighttime. After doing that, the dryness was too much, so I stopped. Then I went back, and she had another video, and she was talking about her hyperpigmentation clinic, and then she was talking about a cocktail that you actually put together with different serums that are specifically for melasma. So she had several things, but the two that I started with was the niacinamide and the azelaic acid. I was using that for, oh my God, for about 9 months. And I have to be honest with you, I noticed a significant difference in my marks and in my skin. And it was kind of working together with the other parts of my skin. Because remember, when I was using the vitamin C, even though I was still putting it around just on my marks and even on my forehead, I noticed like a shadow, and it was like lighter in one part, lighter in the other part. But this didn't give me that result. So what I was doing then is using that faithfully. And then I said, man, I've been using this for a little while, and I was afraid of getting some kind of dermatitis, because she did say something like that. But that was more if you have things with fragrance in it. But then I also started noticing that dryness again, the little white, little white marks. So I got off of it, and I went over to Sephora, because there was something else in the cocktail that she had mentioned. I says, let me try that. And I ran into the Fenty products. Now, I'm not being sponsored. I'm not advertising it. I'm going to tell you what my whole focus was when I went there and I seen it. The first thing I bought was the cleanser. The cleanser does have a little bit of fragrance, but that doesn't matter, because you're going to rinse it off anyways. It's an amazing cleanser. once, one application, a little P dot, that's all you need, and you wash your face and you pat dry, leaves your face really nice, and it takes all your makeup off. One thing that I remember seeing a YouTube video, excuse me, and she has what's called fat water. Fat water is moisturizing. Usually put it on after your cleanser. I was looking for that fat water that she was talking about, but there was something new, and it was this fat water. This water is creamy, and it is very, very hydrating. So with my mature skin, I need something that's hydrating, because my skin, since I'm menopausal, my skin is drier, and it needs some type of hydration because of the serums that I'm putting on as well. This here has niacinamide in it. This is a game changer for me. I literally use the cleanser, I wash off, pat dry, and then I use this. I just put it in my hands, in my palm of my hands, and I literally press it in my skin all over. I press it in. Let it dry for about 5 minutes, and then I go on to the next thing. This next thing I'm going to tell you is what is the #1 thing that you need if you suffer from melasma. That is sunscreen. If you don't wear sunscreen and you have melasma, you are always going to have a problem and flare-ups with melasma. You have to be religious to sunscreen when you have melasma. However, there's a certain type of sunscreen that you have to use. You have to use sunscreen that has titanium dioxide, at least 10%. This one by Color Science is amazing, and it has 12% titanium dioxide. And I'll tell you one thing, I've tried the cheapest ones, I've tried the really expensive ones, I've tried what the dermatologist recommended. Nothing has worked for me better than the Color Science line. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because not only is it hydrating and moisturizing, it's tinted. Tinted moisturizer that has titanium dioxide is probably the best thing that you can have if you suffer from melasma. This is something that you have to have as part of your maintenance program, your skincare program, because if you don't have the protection you need, you can actually see yourself having a bigger problem with your melasma, because it'll keep spreading. You can have it just right here, and it'll be here, it'll be on the side, and it's just gonna keep getting darker. And there's things that you could do for it. You can have your chemical peels, you can have your laser, but none of that's really guaranteed that it's actually gonna make it go away. Yeah, it's gonna look good for about a week or 2 or 3 weeks. I had a chemical peel. Oh my God, I was like, thank you, Jesus. Finally, it's over. Within 3 months, the weather started changing, and I started noticing the spots all over again. So I said, I'm done. I'm done with the chemical peels. I'm done with all the other things that's gonna make this condition, force it to go away, because it's all temporary. Even these serums, they're all temporary. But if you're not committed to doing this, and you're not committed to wearing the sunscreen, you're gonna have an ongoing problem, because you're never gonna maintain it. So one thing I learned about sunscreen is that you have to wear it all the time, and it does only last for about 2 hours. So this line in specific has what's called a top-up, and this is what I have, and you can see that I use that because it's like almost gone. This is a powder that after this stops working, or you could just use this by itself after you moisturize. You take this, you basically tap, open it up, and then you put it on your skin. You see how that is right there? You can see the powder going through. This also has the titanium oxide in it. And it works just as well as as the lotion does. And this, you just take it, you apply it all over your face, and it doesn't even look like you have anything on. It just looks like translucent powder. And it settles really nice, and the biggest thing is you still have the protection from sunscreen. So I've been using this for quite some time. I haven't noticed any dryness. I haven't noticed any of the pigmentation that keeps coming back. I put this color science to the test this summer. I went to the pool and I wore this because they also have a flex, which is this one. And this is kind of like, it's tinted, but it goes and it absorbs into your skin, and it goes into your own skin tone. And then they have the original, which I have. And then they also have one that's called the Glow. And I used to wear that one to the pool. Another thing, you have to wear hats. You have to put a hat on, because if not, you're just bringing all those rays into your skin. So if you don't use protection and then wear a hat, you're going to find yourself with the same problem all the time. And it's like the hyperpigmentation just keeps coming back. So cleansing, hydrating with the niacinamide, religiously putting on your sunscreen, and retapping or just reapplying this. If you don't have the sunscreen, you could put this on, or you could put the powder on. They have these in different brands. But like I said, this is by far what has worked for me. And like I said, I've used some really expensive other brands. And they're good, but for some reason, I did not get the flare-ups, and I didn't get the dark spots when I was in the sun. But I did wear the hats. I have to tell you, I wore the hats, and without the hats, you still have to stay protected. And that worked for me. So that's where I'm at with this. And again, everyone's different. But if I can actually help one person and advise someone, or, you know, you can try it, see if it works for you. But this has really worked for me. I don't have perfect skin, and right now, what I'm wearing for my makeup is I'm wearing the NYX Blur. It is a full coverage, but I'll tell you one thing. It's not one of those thick full coverages. You do the whole routine here, but you have to add a hydrating primer. They do have a hydrating primer for that NYX Blur. And let me tell you something. It looks very nice. It doesn't look like it creases up, and it doesn't show a lot of the demarcation from the hyperpigmentation. But no problem with it. Like I said, if I have helped anyone or one person, then it was so worth the video. If anyone has any comments, please put them below. If you like what you heard, like and hit that subscribe button, because I plan to come out with a lot more. And I thank you for watching. Have a great week.